Hello everybody, it's Dr. Steve with another episode of Core Wellness TV, and today we're going to answer some questions. We're getting some great comments on the blog about other activities of daily living that people have trouble with, that struggle with, the things that you do every day. I think one of the comments, the most recent one, was a very actually simple yet profound, in that she said, could you show us how to hoover? I guess she meant vacuuming. Sit, stand at a desk, all these things. She goes, these are things we do every day. And that's what this is all about. I want to make this video blog about keeping you congruent with good functional movement so you don't injure yourself with your daily activities. So today we're going to talk about the infamous computer posture. Okay, I've called this desk job syndrome in the past just because what do we do all day long is we sit and we type. You can come around from the front a little bit here, but okay, we look at the computer screen and then we get up into it. All right, here we are. And then eventually we find ourselves with our nose to the screen, with our shoulders shrugged and our back all rounded, and we look like, if I stood up, what would I look like? I look like someone who's pulling a walker along. So you got to understand that you have to pay that tissue debt, or else you're going to get old before your time. So we have to understand how to do this sitting thing correctly. And in a second, I'm going to show you how you can avoid it altogether with a standing desk station. And this is what I do to reduce strain whenever I'm working on the computer for extended periods of time. One of the big questions is, what kind of chair do I need to get? Okay, here's the basics of the chair. You want to make sure that everything is adjustable so you can fit your needs exactly. This is not a perfect example of a good chair. We are going through some transitions in our own office, trying to make everything more ergonomic, but this actually works for me. But if someone else, if Rebecca, this chair does not work for Rebecca, because I can sit with my hands, arms on the armrest, and if I have my pull out from underneath, I can sit here and have no strain at all while I work on the computer. So you want to make sure, but for you want to make sure that your armrest can go up and down vertically and come in and out horizontally. You want to make sure everything is adjustable. You want to make sure that the seat pan is tiltable forward and backward. Okay? And you want to make sure that, of course, the height is adjustable. And that's very important. And if you're very short, you may want to look for a chair that has a footrest that you could put your feet up on as well. So those are a few things. I also have a checklist here from my rehabilitation of the spine book, which I always go to. Make sure the seat height is adjustable, feet should be on the floor, and the knees should be no higher than the hips. This is pretty close for me. If I put a marble on here, it would roll down because there's a slight decline from my hip to my knee. You never want to be in a situation where your knees are higher than your hips. That puts way too much pressure on your sit bones. Way too much pressure on your spine. It's hard, and your hips will eventually start to hurt. So that's and also when you're choosing an exercise ball, same thing goes. You want to make sure there's a small decline. Okay, so we're going to come back up. So we want to have that decline there. We want to make sure we have armrest. I talked about that. And you want to make sure you have good lumbar support. Now, I usually sit without support because I know how to sit correctly. But sometimes it's helpful to have a little reminder behind you that there's a little curve, just like in a nice car that'll have a lumbar support. It's good as a reminder to keep a little lumbar curve in your back. So if you can find one with a little lumbar curve back there, great. If not, you can buy little things to put around their little rolls. They call them McKinsey rolls, or just lumbar spine supports. You can do a strap around the back of your chair. So that's helpful. Also, you should get some WD-40 if your chair squeaks like mine. Okay, what else? We got armrest, good lumbar support. Seat back should recline to 95 to 105 degrees. So you want to be able to recline a little bit. It doesn't matter if we used to be that they said that you never wanted to recline while you worked because it was bad on your back. It doesn't matter as long as your spine is neutral. Who cares if you're leaning back a little bit? And as long as your posture is good everywhere, that's going to be great. The idea is to sit dynamically. The biggest trouble we can get into is when we sit and we sit in the same exact position for hours and hours on end, which is this. You reach over and get your Diet Coke, and you eat your chicken nuggets or your French fries. That's another big problem with desk job syndrome, is we go out, get fast food, bring it back, and eat it while we're in our slump. That's an inflammatory mess, and you're going to be in trouble if you do that. So be careful there. Choose a salad, eat more green food. But this is not a nutrition talk. On we go. Tiltable seat pan. We want to make sure that the computer is in the center of the monitor is at nose level. Okay? So the center of the monitor here, for me, should actually be, the monitor should be up a little bit so I don't have to look down at the computer. So we don't want to have to constantly be looking down or up at the computer. I see this a lot in schools. They'll have a bunch of monitors up high, and they'll all have to be working like this. So eye level monitor. And what I'll do is I'll scan this page and post it on the blog post so you can have this checklist for yourself, and you can go through your workstation checklist.